The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets overhead as Mr. Hargrove's voice sliced through the classroom, his chalk-dusted finger jabbing at my essay on the projector screen. This drivel from Mr. Ellis? It's not poetry. It's a cry for attention from a boy who thinks heartbreak is just another filter on his Instagram. Laughter erupted, sharp and merciless, pinning me to my seat while my cheeks burned hotter than the California sun outside. In that frozen moment, as 30 pairs of eyes drilled into me, I swore I'd make him eat those words and drag the whole damn town down with him. I remember the exact second it all cracked open, like a fault line under the polished linoleum of Lincoln High's English lit room. It was third period on a Tuesday in late September, the kind of day in Sacramento where the air hangs heavy with the promise of fall but clings to summer's sweat. I'd poured my guts into that essay, 5 pages on Walt Whitman's Song of Myself, twisting it through the lens of hidden desires, the ache of loving in silence. I called it Echoes Unspoken, a nod to the boys I'd watched from afar, their laughter echoing in hallways that felt like minefields. Mr. Hargrove, with his wire-rimmed glasses and perpetual scowl, had assigned it as a deep dive. But when he clicked to my submission, his lip curled like he'd tasted something rotten. Echoes Unspoken, he read aloud, his voice dripping sarcasm that pooled at my feet. Mr. Ellis, if this is your idea of literary analysis, perhaps you should stick to fanfiction on those little apps you kids obsess over. The class snickered, polite at first, then bolder, like a spark catching dry grass. I sat there, 16 and already too tall for my own skin, my backpack zipper digging into my thigh as I gripped the desk. My heart hammered, not just from the humiliation, but from the raw exposure. I'd woven in fragments of my own story, the way I'd stolen glances at Jake Ramirez and Jim, his easy grin slicing through my defenses. The nights I'd lain awake in my cramped bedroom, scrolling through forbidden feeds, wondering if anyone would ever see me for more than the quiet kid with the thrift store flannels. It wasn't the first time I'd felt the sting. Growing up in this sprawling suburb on the edge of the Delta, where strip malls bled into almond orchards, being gay was like carrying an unmarked package. You hoped no one asked to open it. My mom worked doubles at the diner off Highway 99, her laugh lines deepening with every shift, while Dad had bailed when I was 8, leaving behind a stack of unpaid bills and a baseball glove I never used. We scraped by in a duplex that smelled of microwave dinners and her lavender hand soap, the kind of place where dreams went to hibernate. I'd come out to her last summer, over lukewarm spaghetti, my voice barely above a whisper. She hugged me tight, said, "Baby, you're my light, don't let 'em dim you." But her eyes held that flicker of worry, the unspoken fear of what this town might do to her only son. School was the battlefield. Lincoln High wasn't some progressive haven. It was football fields and Friday night lights, where the mascot, a snarling Mustang, seemed to embody the unyielding spirit of conformity. I'd kept my head down since freshman year, acing tests to stay invisible, but poetry had always been my rebellion. Whitman spoke to me, his verses a roar against the silence I swallowed daily. In Echoes Unspoken, I dared to echo that. Lines about a body electric with unspoken wants, a self that bloomed in the shadows. Hargrove, though he was the gatekeeper, a transplant from some East Coast ivy who treated us like footnotes in his grand narrative. Rumor had it he was bitter about a stalled novel, taking it out on anyone who dared to dream bigger than a C+. As the bell rang, the class filed out in a haze of whispers and averted eyes. I lingered, crumpling my essay into my bag, the paper's edges biting my palms. "Elliot," Hargrove called, not looking up from his desk. "A word." I approached like a defendant in a lineup, the room emptying around us. He steepled his fingers, peering over his glasses. "That piece, it's overwrought. Emotional, yes, but undisciplined. You're better than pity parties." Pity? The word landed like a slap. I wanted to scream that it wasn't pity. It was truth, carved from the loneliness that gnawed at me like termites in old wood. Instead, I muttered, "I'll revise it," and bolted, the door slamming behind me like a full stop. Outside, the quad baked under the relentless sun, palm trees swaying lazily as if mocking my turmoil. I slumped against a stucco wall, pulling out my phone to text Mia, my best friend since we bonded over bad sci-fi in middle school. Hargrove just eviscerated me in front of everyone. Called my essay a cry for attention. Her reply buzzed instantly. That dinosaur? Screw him. Meet me at the bleachers, ice cream run on me. Mia was the anchor in my storm. A fierce Latina with a pixie cut and a mouth that could out-argue a lawyer. She'd been out since 8th grade, waving her pride flag like a battle standard. But even she navigated the minefield carefully. We weren't a couple, God no. But her solidarity was the closest thing I had to family beyond mom. The bleachers overlooked the football field, where the team was already drilling under Coach Riley's bellows. And there, amid the grunts and whistles, was Jake Ramirez. Quarterback, golden boy, with sun-kissed skin and eyes like polished obsidian. He transferred in sophomore year from LA, bringing a wave of charisma that made the halls buzz. I'd caught myself staring too many times. The way his jersey clung after practice, sweat tracing paths down his neck. The quiet laugh he shared with teammates, a sound that twisted something deep in my chest. He was straight, or so the grapevine screamed, but in my weaker moments I let myself imagine otherwise. Stupid, I know. Crushes like that were landmines, and I was already bruised enough. Mia found me nursing a melting rocky road, her skateboard tucked under her arm. Spill, she demanded, plopping down. I did, the words tumbling out in a rush. The laughter, the sting, the way Hargrove's eyes had lingered just a beat too long, like he knew exactly where to twist the knife. She listened, then punched my shoulder lightly. He's threatened, L. Your writing's got soul, he's got dust. Enter that contest. The one with the national prize. Show him what undisciplined looks like when it wins. The California Young Voices Award, deadlines loomed in November, a $5,000 prize and publication in some lit mag. I toyed with submitting, but fear had glued my fingers to the delete key. Now, with Hargrove's barbs echoing, it felt like armor. That night, in the dim glow of my desk lamp, I revised. Not to appease him, to arm myself. The words flowed fiercer. Whitman's Leaves of Grass became hidden notes passed in lockers. His barbaric yawp a silent scream against the closet's walls. I wove in Jake without naming him. A shadow figure with a voice like summer thunder. By dawn, it was done, 20 pages of raw nerve. I hit submit before coffee, my pulse a war drum. Little did I know, that click would unravel everything. Friendships tested, hearts cracked open, and a betrayal that cut deeper than any public shaming. The next week dragged like a hangover. In the halls, sidelong glances followed me, whispers trailing like smoke. Fairy tale writer, someone muttered in the cafeteria line, loud enough to carry. I kept my chin up, channeling mom's mantra, head high, heart higher. But inside, doubt gnawed. What if Hargrove was right? What if my voice was just noise in a world that tuned out queer kids like static? Then came the assembly mandatory pep rally for homecoming. The gym thrummed with bass from the sound system, cheerleaders flipping information while the band butchered Eye of the Tiger. I sat in the bleachers nosebleeds with Mia, our knees bumping in solidarity. Jake was down front, of course, leading chants with that effortless charm. Our eyes met once. Pure accident, and he flashed a grin quick as lightning. My stomach flipped. Coincidence, I told myself. Get a grip. But the universe, that cruel jester, had other plans. As the principal droned about school spirit, a spotlight swung wild, catching me in its beam. The mic feedback screeched, and suddenly Hargrove was at the podium. Guest speaker, because why not salt the wound? Talent isn't handed out, he boomed, his gaze locking on me like a heat-seeking missile. It's earned through discipline, not indulgence. The word hung, laced with implication, and the crowd tittered. Mia's hand found mine, squeezing hard. I wanted to vanish, to melt into the polished floor. Instead, I held his stare, a spark igniting in my chest. Game on, old man. Little did I know Jake had seen it all. After the rally, as we spilled into the parking lot, he jogged up, breathless, cleats crunching gravel. Hey Ellis, Elliot, right? That was bullshit up there. His voice was low, genuine, those obsidian eyes searching mine. Up close, he smelled like turf and Gatorade, a scent that hit me like a drug. Hargrove's a prick. Your stuff in class? It was real. Don't let him kill that. I stammered thanks, my tongue thick, while Mia smirked from afar. Was this pity, or something more? As he walked away, clapping my shoulder with a warmth that lingered, I dared to hope. For the first time, the hallway didn't feel so endless. But hope is a fragile thing in a town built on facades. That weekend, Mom dragged me to the farmer's market downtown, stalls bursting with heirloom tomatoes and artisan honey under striped awnings. It was her ritual, fresh air to wash away the week's grit. We wandered, her arm looped in mine, chatting about nothing and everything. "Proud of you, kiddo," she said, biting into a peach, juice dribbling down her chin. "For standing tall." I told her about the contest, the revision, Jake's words. Her eyes lit up. That's my boy chasing stars. Back home, I dove into research, Whitman's archives spilling secrets from my laptop screen. Leaves of grass in dog-eared paperback, annotations in the margins like whispered confessions. I expanded the piece, layering in Sacramento's pulse. The river's lazy bend mirroring unspoken bends in the heart. The delta fog cloaking midnight walks where boys might brush hands without the world noticing. It was becoming more than an essay, a manifesto, a love letter to the self I'd buried. Monday brought the first ripple. In Creative Writing Club, my sanctuary, a ragtag group of misfits led by the kindly Ms. Patel, I shared a snippet. The room hushed, then erupted in snaps, our version of applause. "Elliot, that's fire," said Theo, a non-binary junior with blue-streaked hair. Even Mia nodded, impressed. But as we packed up, Jake appeared in the doorway, leaning against the frame like he'd always belonged. "Heard you guys talk poetry. Mind if I sit in?" The club exchanged glances. Jake Ramirez, jock royalty, crashing the artsy underbelly? Ms. Patel beamed. "The more, the merrier." He pulled up a chair beside me, our knees inches apart. Discussion flowed. Sonnets versus free verse, the ache of metaphor. Jake listened, chiming in with surprising depth, a quote from Neruda he'd read for a road trip. His passion mirrored mine, unguarded. And when our eyes met over a shared laugh, electricity crackled. Was it real, or was I projecting Whitman onto a straight boy's shadow? By meeting's end, he'd asked for my number. 4 book recs, he said with a wink. I floated home, the duplex creaky stairs no match for my high. Yet shadows loomed. Whispers in the locker room, a crude doodle on my stall door, 2 stick figures, one labeled Ellis with a heart arrow. I scrubbed it off, jaw clenched, but the damage seeped in. Hargrove upped the ante in class, docking points on trivialities, his red pen a guillotine. "Focus, Mr. Ellis, fiction has no place in analysis." I bit back retorts, channeling fury into the manuscript. Nights blurred. Typing till fingers cramped, Jake's texts lighting my screen. "Read that Ginsberg you mentioned." Blew my mind. What's next? Our first Real hang was Accidental Genius. Study group for history, but Mia bailed, leaving me and Jake at the library's corner table, Civil War maps spread like battle plans. He leaned in close, explaining Gettysburg with animated hands, his enthusiasm infectious. "History's just stories, right? People fighting to be seen." Our talk veered to dreams, fears, the pressure of expectations. "Dad wants me at State on scholarship," he confessed, tracing a finger over a faded photo in his wallet. Him and his old man at a game, grins wide. "But I want to write. Screenplays, maybe. Capture the mess of it all." I shared my contest nerves, the humiliation still raw. He squeezed my hand, brief, electric. "You're brave, braver than me." That touch lingered, a promise or a trap. As October deepened, leaves turning crimson underfoot, our worlds intertwined. Coffee runs after practice, where he'd vent about plays and I'd read him snippets, his feedback sharpening my edges. Mia teased endlessly, "Puppy eyes much?" But I saw the caution in her gaze. Jake was out of my league, a shooting star in a straight-laced sky. Still, in stolen moments, like when he brushed rain from my hair after a downpour, I let myself fall. The betrayal brewed slow, a storm on the horizon. It started with a note in my locker. "Nice poem, lover boy, Hargrove knows," and signed, but the handwriting screamed familiarity. Theo's loopy ease. Paranoia set in. Had I shared too much? Club was tense now, glances darting. Jake noticed, pulling me aside post-practice. "What's eating you?" Under the stadium lights, stars pricking the dusk, I spilled the note, the fear. He hugged me then, fierce and unyielding, his heartbeat syncing with mine. "We've got your back. All of us. We." The word bloomed warm in my chest. But trust is a house of cards in high school wins. The night before the first draft deadline, I got the call from Mom. Crying, voice muffled. The diner's buzzing. They found your essay online." My blood iced. Someone had leaked it. To the school forum, anonymous post titled, "Lincoln's Secret Poet." Not just the Whitman piece, but revisions. Jake's shadow woven in explicit as neon. Comments flooded. Slurs, jeers, Hargrove's name dropped like a bomb. "This is why we don't let them teach us." I raced to Mia's, laptop trembling in my hands. She scrolled, face paling. "Theo," she hissed. "He was jealous, your spotlight. Confessed to me an hour ago." Betrayal hit like a freight train. Theo, my club confidant, selling me out for scraps of attention. We confronted him at his house, porch light flickering like a guilty conscience. "I didn't mean," he stammered, but the damage was done. Jake arrived minutes later, fists clenched, ready to defend. In the chaos, our eyes locked, a silent vow. But the wound festered. Hargrove summoned me Tuesday, door shut, voice low. "This vulgarity reflects on me. Withdraw from that contest or face consequences." His threat hung, paternal poison. I refused, chin lifted. "It's my voice. Deal with it." The fallout cascaded. Bullies cornered me in the bathroom. Shoves and snarls. "Freak show." Jake intervened once, twice, his jock status a shield, but cracks showed. Teammates side-eyeing him, whispers of soft. Mia rallied the club, a petition circling for Hargrove's ouster, but administration stonewalled. Nights I revised in secret, words a lifeline. Jake became my harbor. Late drives along the American River, windows down, his hand on the gearshift brushing mine. "I see you, he'd say, voice rough with emotion. "All of you." Our first kiss happened there, under a canopy of willows, tentative then consuming, the world narrowing to his taste of mint and courage. It was romance unscripted, tender amid the thorns. Hands clasped, foreheads touching, promises breathed into the night. Yet climax loomed, a thunderhead. Homecoming week peaked with the talent showcase. Open mic, my wildcard entry. The auditorium buzzed, lights low, as performers took the stage. Singers warbling pop covers, dancers twirling in sync. My slot neared, palms slick, heart a wild Mustang. Backstage, Jake squeezed my hand. "Own it." Hargrove sat front row, arms crossed, a sentinel of judgment. Mia in the wings, thumbs up. The mic hummed alive. I stepped out, spotlight blinding, and began. Not the leaked drivel, the refined beast, echoes unspoken, in full glory. Lines poured. Whitman's fire tempered by my truth. Sacramento's rivers carrying queer anthems to the sea. The room shifted, gasps then silence, wrapped. Jake's shadow in the crowd, eyes shining. I wove betrayal's sting, love's quiet dawn, ending on a yawp that echoed my own. I am he who walks the delta's edge, unseen but unbreakable. Applause crashed, a wave breaking. Hargrove's face, stone but cracked. Backstage, Jake pulled me into shadows, kiss fierce with victory. "You did it." But whispers followed, contest shortlist email that night, my name glowing. Hargrove's countermove, a formal complaint to the board, citing inappropriate content. The town ignited, forums ablaze, parents divided. Mia's petition hit 500 signatures. Even Coach Riley spoke up, "Kids got guts." The board hearing was a circus. fluorescence harsh, suits droning. Hargrove testified, voice venomous. This promotes deviance over discipline. My turn. Manuscript in hand, I read aloud, voice steady. Poetry isn't deviance, it's survival. For kids like me, it's the light in the lie. Jake testified next, unscripted. Elliot showed me what real strength looks like. Not touchdowns, truth. The room held breath. Board nodded. Verdict. Complaint dismissed. Hargrove on probation. Winter broke. Contest results in February. I won grand prize publication, a check that paid Mom's debts. The ceremony in San Francisco was surreal. Fog rolling off the bay, stage lights on Golden Gate views. Jake flew up, suit rumpled, grin wide. Told you. Hargrove sent a curt email. Well done. No apology, but apology enough. Graduation dawned golden, caps tossing like confetti. Mom sobbed in the stands. Mia hooped. Jake and I? We drove east that summer. NYU for me, screenwriting dreams. State for him, but visits promised. Betrayal's scar faded, replaced by something human. Forgiveness for Theo, who apologized in tears. Grace for Hargrove, a man trapped in his own echo. Love, though, that endured, a river carving canyons, deep and unyielding. In America's vast heart, we'd found ours, beating, unbroken. The wind didn't erase the bruises, but it bandaged them just enough to breathe. Back in Sacramento, spring unfurled lazy and lush, the Delta's levees greening with wild mustard that swayed like golden applause. Mom framed the certificate above our kitchen table, its edges curling slightly from the humidity, a talisman against the ordinary grind. My poet, she'd say, ruffling my hair as she plated eggs. Her night shifts lighter now with the prize money tucked into savings. I felt taller, somehow, not just in stature, but in the way I carried the world's weight, shoulders squared against the stairs that still lingered in Lincoln's corridors. School became a different beast. The leak had polarized us. Allies emerged from unlikely corners. A quiet girl in bio who slipped me zines on Queer Lit, the librarian who reserved Whitman's full volumes just for me. Bullies slunk back, their venom diluted by the spotlight I'd claimed. Hargrove? He taught in clipped tones now, assignments rubber-stamped, his red pen retired to desk drawer exile. Once, after class, he paused at my desk. Your work. It resonated. No more, but the concession hung between us, a fragile bridge over the chasm he'd dug. Jake and I navigated new waters, our rhythm tentative yet intoxicating. Mornings, he'd text good luck memes before my runs along the river trail, where egrets stabbed at the current like punctuation marks. Afternoons, we'd steal the old pickup from his dad's garage. Rusted fenders and a radio stuck on classic rock, and cruise J Street, windows down, his hand finding mine over the console. It was romance in stolen increments. A brush of fingers at the arcade, quarters clinking as we battled pixel zombies. Shared fries at In-N-Out, ketchup packets exploding like laughter. He talked dreams unfiltered. The screenplay about a Latino kid chasing Hollywood ghosts, inspired by his abuela's border-crossing tales. I'd read drafts aloud, his head on my shoulder, edits flowing easy as the Sacramento's bend. But intimacy bred vulnerability, and vulnerability invited storms. Mia noticed first, over boba tea at the campus cafe, her straw piercing the tapioca orbs like accusations. You're glowing, Elle, but slow it down. Jake's world. It's not ours. She meant the team, the parties where beer pong reigned and fag slipped casual as hellos. He'd shielded me, but at what cost? Whispers reached me. Locker room jabs, coach pulling him aside for focus. Guilt gnawed. Had my light dimmed his? The first real test came Memorial Day weekend. The town exploding in red, white, and blue fervor. Barbecues smoked the air, flags snapping from porches like defiant snaps. Jake invited me to his family's lake house up in the Sierra foothills. 2 hours of winding Highway 50. Pines thickening as suburb gave way to wilderness. Dad's grilling, Mom's got that potato salad you like. It'll be chill. Chill. The word masked the undercurrent. Meeting the Ramirez's proper, post-kiss, post-everything. The cabin perched on Tahoe's edge, logs weathered silver, dock creaking under lapping waves. His parents greeted me warm. Mrs. Ramirez with a hug scented of cilantro and sunblock, Mr. Ramirez clapping my back with calloused hands, his USC ring glinting. Heard about your win, Mijo. Proud work. No awkwardness, just easy chatter over ribs and corn, the lake mirroring alpenglow pinks. Jake relaxed beside me, foot nudging mine under the picnic table, a secret Morse code. Night fell soft, stars pricking the velvet sky like errant thoughts. We slipped away to the dock, skipping stones, his flat and far, mine plopping short. Scared me inviting you, he admitted, voice low over the water's whisper. Dad's old school, but he likes you. Said you're solid. I leaned into him, our shoulders aligning. Worth it. The kiss that followed was deeper, unhurried. The world reduced to pine resin and his steady breath. Fireflies danced, nature's confetti, as hands explored boundaries. Chaste, reverent, a language of trust. Dawn brought reckoning. Footsteps on the dock. Mr. Ramirez, coffee mug steaming, silhouette against the rising sun. We sprang apart, hearts jackhammering. He paused, eyes assessing, then chuckled soft. Morning, boys. Fish are biting, join me? No judgment, just N or extended. Relief flooded, but Jake's tension lingered. A coil unwound halfway. Driving back, radio humming Springsteen, he gripped the wheel tight. That was close, but good, right? I nodded, but Mia's warning echoed. Close calls accumulate like debt. June sweltered, graduation a fever dream. The ceremony under the football field's floodlights. Air thick with jasmine and anticipation. Valedictorian droned on unity, but my mind wandered to futures. NYU's bustle calling. Jake's state dorm a weekend's drive. Diplomas in hand, we posed for photos. Mom beaming, Mia photobombing with peace signs. Jake stole a moment behind the bleachers, cap tilted rakish. This isn't goodbye. His kiss tasted of promise, salty with unshed tears. Summer unfurled lazy, jobs filling days. Me shelving at the indie bookstore downtown, inhaling ink and possibility. Him lifeguarding at the community pool, whistles shrill over splashes. Evenings bled into adventures. The State Fair and Cal Expo, Ferris wheel creaking as we kissed at the apex, city lights sprawling below like spilled stars. We wrote together some nights, my poetry threading his scripts. A scene of two boys under orchard moons, dialogue laced with Whitman's echo. Betrayal's ghost resurfaced in fragments. Theo transferred schools, but apologies came via letter. Penitent scrawl on notebook paper, slipped under my door. I was lost, L. Your light blinded me. Forgive? I did, partially, humanity demanded it. Hargrove, too, softened. A recommended reading list left on my desk. Queer voices like Auden and Baldwin. No sorries, but growth's quiet nod. Yet the real fracture brewed in Jake's silences. Late July, after a team barbecue where I tagged along as study buddy, he withdrew. Texts lagged, excuses piled. Practice, family. Mia cornered me at the bookstore, between stacks of dog-eared Kerouac. He's pulling back. Jock guilt happens. I denied it, but doubt seeded. One night, Riverwalk solo, phone buzzed. Need to talk. My place? Dread pooled. His room was a time capsule. Posters of Messi and Spielberg, trophies gleaming on shelves. He paced, words tumbling. Coach knows about us. Overheard at the fair. Says it'll tank my scholarship shot, distractions. His eyes pleaded, torn. I love you, L. But Dad, the team, it's everything. Love. The word hit like grace, then gutted. So what now? I whispered. He reached, but I stepped back. Hiding? After all this. Tears tracked his cheeks. Just till college. Then free. Betrayal anew. Not Theo's malice, but love's compromise. I left, door clicking soft as a period. Days blurred, anger a dull ache. Mom noticed, her diner wisdom gentle. Hearts bend before they break. Baby, give it air. I wrote furiously, contest follow-up, a chapbook on fractures, submitted to a lit journal. Acceptance came swift, validation's bomb. Mia dragged me to pride events, rainbow flags whipping in the breeze, bodies a tapestry of unapologetic joy. There, amid drag queens lip-syncing Gaga and food trucks slinging rainbow cupcakes, I danced, free, if fleeting. Reconciliation sparked unlikely. August heat wave, power out, we met at the river neutral ground. He arrived sheepish, cooler of sodas in hand. Missed you. Words bridged the gap. His fears unpacked. My hurts aired. I can't hide us, I said. Not anymore. He nodded, resolve hardening. Then we don't. Come out on my terms with me. The kiss sealed it, fiercer for the fight. Fall loomed, suitcases packed. Airport drop-off was a tear-streaked blur. Mom hugging Jake like kin, Mia snapping pics. Call every day, he demanded, voice thick. Plane ascended, Sacramento shrinking to patchwork below, but my heart stayed anchored. In him, in the boy who dared to echo back. NYU hit like a whirlwind. Village streets alive with buskers and bodegas, dorms humming with accents global. Classes ignited, lit seminars dissecting Baldwin's fire, workshops where my voice stood unbowed. Jake's calls anchored, his freshman haze mirrored in late-night vents. Thanksgiving, he flew east. We wandered Central Park, leaves crunching copper, hands laced defiant. Worth the wait, he murmured. Winter quarter brought news. Hargrove retired early, rumor of a memoir in works. Perhaps my echo lingered. Mia thrived at community college, her comics gaining traction online. Theo, a postcard from Portland art school blooming. Spring renewal. Jake visited, scripts in tow, our collaboration a quiet revolution. Under Brooklyn bridges we dreamed big, films with queer hearts, poems that pierced. Betrayal's lessons wove in. Trust earned, not given. Love a verb, active and fierce. By sophomore year, the world widened. My chapbook launched to acclaim. Readings in cozy cafes where audiences leaned in, hungry for truth. Jake's short film screened at a fest. Our story, veiled but vivid, earning nods. Mom visited, eyes wide at the city pulse, her pride a steady glow. Years layered, but the core held. That Sacramento boy, once humbled, now authoring his saga. Hargrove's shadow, faded footnote. Jake's hand in mine, the plot twist that proved us right. In America's mosaic, we carved our tile human, flawed, luminous. College sharpened edges I'd scarcely known were dull. NYU's concrete jungle swallowed me whole those first months. Subway rumbles syncing with my pulse. Coffee steam curling like unanswered questions in Washington Square Park. Professors prodded deeper. Deconstruct queerness in Ginsberg's howl. Trace desire's arc in Hart Crane's bridges. My voice, once a whisper against Hargrove's roar, now thundered in seminar rooms. Peers nodding as I unpacked Echo's unspoken evolutions. But triumph tasted bittersweet without Jake's easy laugh to share it. Distance tested us like a cruel editor's blue pencil. His calls from state were lifelines. Static-laced tales of frat pranks and calc exams. His voice dropping low for I love yous that bridged the miles. Weekends blurred into Amtrak halls. Me west to Sacramento layovers, him east for city escapes. One such visit, November chill nipping at Chelsea Galleries. We ducked into a queer bookstore, shelves groaning with spines that mirrored our scars. He traced a finger over a Baldwin collection, eyes distant. Reading this makes me think. We could have been them, fighting for air. I pulled him close amid the musty aisles. Our kiss a quiet defiance. But cracks spiderwebbed. His hesitations in public, hand withdrawing when teammates video called. My growing impatience, forged in village bars where outness was oxygen. Betrayal echoed in subtler forms. A mutual friend from Lincoln, ex-teammate of Jake's, DM'd me screenshots. Party pics, Jake arm in arm with a sorority girl, captioned brothers before. Whatever. Context screamed fake. Staged for optics, he swore later, but the sting reopened old wounds. Trust me, he pleaded over FaceTime. Face pixelated in dorm lamplight. It's armor, L till I'm ready. armor that chafed my skin raw. Mia, now interning at a zine collective in Oakland, zoomed tough love. Love's not half measures. You're all in, he's hedging. Her words landed heavy, a mirror to fears I'd shelved. Winter break healed some. Home in the duplex, Mom's tree twinkling with dollar store ornaments. We reunited under mistletoe she'd hung, just in case. Nights by the heater, sharing tamales and stories. His presence mended frayed threads. We drove to the Delta, Levee roads mudslick, talking futures unvarnished. After graduation, he vowed, wind whipping his hair. LA for me, a see film. You visiting. I nodded, but the after loomed like a deferred chapter. Sophomore spring bloomed fraught. My lit mag piece went viral in niche circles. Tweets threading my Whitman remix with queer voices. Invites to readings in Boston and Chicago. Jake's short film scored a campus award, but whispers followed. That gay subplot? Bold? Man. He laughed it off, but tension coiled. A joint visit to Sacramento for Mia's birthday. Barbecue in her backyard. Fairy lights strung like stars. Cracked it open. Around the fire pit. Beers loosening tongues. A cousin ribbed him. Still playing for the other team, Primo? Laughter died. Jake froze, bottle midway to lips. Silence stretched, coals popping accusatory. He muttered funny, and vanished inside. We fought in the guest room later, voices hushed to not wake the house. Why freeze? I demanded, chest tight. It's us, they know. His eyes flashed hurt. Not all. Family's complicated, dad's changing but slow. I can't torch it. Betrayal's kin. Not outright deceit, but omission's slow poison. I packed that night, bus ticket in hand by dawn. Love you, he texted as wheels rolled east. Prove it, I didn't reply. Healing came circuitous. Summer internship at a Brooklyn press. Editing manuscripts that bled raw emotion. Queer memoirs, immigrant sagas. Readings at the center. Spotlights warm on faces like mine. Rebuilt confidence. Mom's letters arrived weekly, scrawled on diner napkins. You're flying, birdie. Wings strong. Mia visited, crashing on my futon, her comics critiqued over ramen. He's a good guy, she conceded. But you deserve all in. Reentry sophomore fall. Jake's apology package, a screenplay draft, our river scene etched in dialogue that wept. For you, all of you, we reconciled over Labor Day. Him in my dorm, city horns serenading. No more hiding, he promised, fingers tracing my jaw. Out to the team, Dad. Everyone. The kiss sealed it, hungry and renewed. But life's not linear. Conflicts cascade. Junior year, my thesis loomed. A novel in verse on Sacramento silences. Echoes of that first humiliation. Jake's film program intensified. Rejections piling like snowdrifts. Stress fractured us. Missed calls, snapped words. A low point. Thanksgiving alone in the city. Rain sluicing windows. I scrolled old texts. Doubt a cold companion. His flight canceled, he showed days later, soaked and contrite. Can't lose you. We rebuilt brick by brick. Therapy sessions shared over Zoom. His coming out to Dad yielding teary hugs. My readings where he cheered loudest. Climax crested unexpected. Spring Festival, NYU's Queer Lit Showcase. My thesis excerpt headlining. Venue packed, air electric with anticipation. Jake flew in, front row, eyes locked as I took the stage. Words flowed. Hargrove's ghost evoked. Jake's shadow a luminous thread. Betrayal's barbs turned to balm. Midway, voice cracking on a line about love's fragile bridge. I faltered, spotlight harsh, memories flooding. The room held breath. Then, from the wings, Jake stepped out, mic in hand. That's us, he said, voice steady. Elliot's story, our story. He read the next stanza. Our voices weaving, a duet of survival. Applause thundered, tears mingling with stage lights. Aftermath, reviews raved, offers trickled, agent interest, publication whispers. Jake's vulnerability sparked his own breakthrough. A script sold to a streaming indie, queer heart unapologetic. Hargrove, a letter arrived, postmarked Sacramento. your work humbles. Taught me more than I you. Grateful. Human arc complete. Senior year solidified. Graduation duel. Me in cap and gown under Gotham spires. Him months later amid SoCal palms. Vows exchanged in whispers. Brooklyn for me, post-grad editing gig. LA for him, but commutes conquered. Mom danced at my ceremony. Jake's parents beaming via stream. Epilogues draft. Years on, our lives a shared manuscript. My novel debuts to acclaim. Tours tracing American veins. From Delta diners to village lofts. Jake's films garner nods. Red carpets where we pose hand in hand. Flashes immortalizing. Betrayals? Footnotes. Lessons in resilience. Romance endures. Mornings tangled in sheets. Coffee black and shared. Evenings scripting tomorrows. In quiet moments, Whitman whispers, I am large, I contain multitudes. So do we, flawed, fierce, forever echoing. Post-grad haze settled like fog off the bay, thick and disorienting. Brooklyn's pulse, brownstones etched with graffiti sonnets. L trains rattling like urgent haikus. Welcomed me to the gig at Nimbus Press. A scrappy indie churning queer narratives from a walk-up in Williamsburg. Mornings blurred into edits. Slashing purple prose from debuts. Amplifying voices that trembled too close to my own. Afternoons, freelance readings paid rent. Stages from dive bars to library nooks where crowds leaned in. Hungry for the Sacramento silences I'd mined into verse. It was living poetry, raw, rent due by the fifth. Jake's LA transplant mirrored mine in frenzy. USC masters, days in edit bays splicing dreams. Nights networking mixers where handshakes hid hungers. Red ice bridged us. Me eastbound Fridays, him west for stolen weekends. His apartment, a shoebox off Sunset, smelled of takeout pho and fresh script pages. Walls pinned with storyboards that whispered our river origins. We'd collapse into each other, exhaustion yielding to urgency. Bodies mapping familiar terrains, whispers charting courses. Missed this, he'd murmur, fingers tracing collarbones like plot points. Romance matured, less fireworks, more hearth. Shared playlists of indie folk, his head in my lap as I read drafts aloud. But distance devours if unfed. Fall's first fracture. My book tour launch, a whirlwind hitting Chicago, Austin, back to Sacramento for a homecoming reading at Lincoln High. Irony's full circle. Jake couldn't make it, a deadline crunch. Next one, he promised, voice tinny over spotty Wi-Fi. The auditorium, once a coliseum of jeers, now hummed receptive. Students rapped, Hargrove in the back row. Applause sparse but sincere. Mom front and center, tears carving tracks. Post-reading cue. A kid, 17, eyes wide with that old ache, asked, how'd you survive the hate? I paused, Jake's absence a hollow note. Love and spite. Laughter rippled, but inside, doubt stirred. Return to Brooklyn brought the blow. A call, his voice edged with gravel. Met someone, on set, assistant director. Nothing, but nothing? The word detonated. Betrayal redux, sharper for the years invested. Who? I demanded, subway platform blurring through tears. Details spilled reluctant. Late shoots, shared cabs, a kiss in the moment. Not a fair deep, he swore, but the breach gaped. We're good, right? Tell me we're good. Rage and grief warred. I hung up, phone a dead weight. Nights fractured after. Edits abandoned mid-sentence. Runs along the East River pounding out fury. Mia, now Oakland-based with her graphic novel deal, flew in couch fort of blankets and bad TV. Dump the baggage, she urged, passing tissues. You're the prize. Don't settle for consolation. Mom's emails anchored. Hearts heal crooked, but they heal. You're enough. I wrote through it, journal entries morphing to poems. A cycle on infidelity's echo, submitted to a lit annual. Acceptance came swift, catharsis in print. Reconciliation attempt. Him in Brooklyn, 2 weeks later, hotel room neutral as a confessional. Eyes red-rimmed, he knelt, dramatic, script-honed. Idiot move. Scared of us getting too real. Vulnerability poured. Pressures mounting, imposter syndrome gnawing, the kiss a panic's flail. I listened, heart thawing slow. Real means all in, I said. No moments. He nodded, ring from his pocket, simple silver, engraved echo. Marry me? When ready. Not proposal but pledge. We mended tentative. Therapy apps synced, boundaries redrawn. Winter deepened commitments. His film premiered at Sundance, queer road trip, nods to our Delta drives. I flew Park City Ward, snow blanketing peaks like forgiveness. Red carpet awkward. Flashes popping, his hand firm in mine. Q&A, director's chair creaking, he credited me. Elliot's words birthed this. My misa, my mirror. Audience awed. My chest swelled. Spring brought my novel's paperback run. Tours lighter but lingering. Sacramento stop. Reading at the diner, mom's colleagues whooping. Jake there, incognito in ball cap, cheering loudest. Post-event, we walked the old streets. Highway 99 humming distant, orchards blooming defiant. Remember the bleachers? He asked, arm around me. Laughter bubbled. Where it started. Full circle, scars silken. Conflicts evolved domestic. LA move loomed. My press remote friendly, his career rooted west. Uproot or anchor. Debates over takeout. Brooklyn's edge versus Hollywood's gleam. Compromise. Hybrid life. Me splitting coasts. Betrayal's lesson lingered, communication gospel. Check-ins ritual. Climax crested personal. Summer heat wave, his set wrapping a feature, big break, queer leads. Rap party invite. Industry swarm, egos colliding. I went, suit ill-fitting, nerves electric. Mingling sharp. Producers probing, actors air-kissing. Jake shone, but a producer sidled close. Oily charm, hand on elbow. Your boy's gold. Keep him grounded. Implication slithered. The kept man. Fury flashed. I pulled Jake aside. Green room haze. This world's poison. Users seeing us as props. He deflated. Fight's worth it. With you. Walkout followed. Cab to his car, city lights streaking. En route home, script in glovebox caught light, new draft, title unspoken bridges. Peaked. Protagonists us. Raw betrayals bared. Love's rebuild. For the screen, he said, catching me. Our story. Permission. Tears pricked. Make it sing. Fall stabilized. Wedding whispers. Small, Delta side. Willows arching like blessings. Mom officiant. Mia maid of honor. Comics as invites. Hargrove RSVP'd yes, ghost laid, witness to joy. Years layered fuller. My second book, memoir verse hybrid. Topped indie lists. Tours tracing blue highways. Jake's films stacked credits. Emmy's glinting shelf. Betrayals? Distant thunder. Growth's fertilizer. Humanity's thread. Forgiveness not erasure. Theo's wedding invite, his, to a partner met in Portland. We went, dances awkward then easy. Hargrove's memoir launched modest. Review in my mag. Kind words exchanged. In quiet, we echo. Bodies entwined. Futures scripted shared. America's vast but our corner warm one. Decades turned sneak subtle. Like fog creeping delta banks. LA's sprawl claimed us. Hillside bungalow in Silver Lake. Bougainvillea rioting pink against stucco. Reservoir views mirroring moods. My writing room overlooked it. Desk scarred from drafts. Third novel brewing. A family saga laced with queer undercurrents. Sacramento roots deep. Jake's office adjoined. Monitors humming edits. Oscars wannabes lining sills. Mornings synced. Coffee ritual. Him sketching scenes. Me inking verses. Silences companionable. Life's plot thickened domestic. Adoption whispers. A rescue pup named Whitman bounding chaos. Tours paired virtual nods to carbon footprints. But keynotes pulled. TEDx on voices valor. Pride panels dissecting silences. Jake's directorial pivot yielded prestige. Indies lauded for heart. A series greenlit on immigrant dreams. Red carpet's routine, his hand mine a constant, paparazzi flashes mere static. Conflicts mellowed, but lingered human scale. Mom's health dip, hip surgery post-diner retirement, drew us north. Sacramento visits. Duplex sold, her in a bungalow with garden plots bursting tomatoes. My boys! She'd coo, wheelchair-bound but spirit spry, Jake wheeling her to river paths. Mia's orbit tightened, her graphic novel series animated, cameos in Jake's pilots. Theo's path crossed occasional. Gallery openings in SF, his abstracts echoing old apologies. Betrayal's final echo, industry scandal. Jake's producer, that oily one from the party, outed in harassment suits, tentacles reaching sets. Jake testified, voice steady in depositions. He preyed on vulnerabilities, mine included. Revelation. That moment years back? Coerced edge, buried deep. Unpacked in couple sessions, it surfaced, not fault his, but wound shared. We heal together, therapist affirmed. We did. Retreats in Big Sur, waves crashing catharsis, vows renewed under cypress. Climax crested communal. Lincoln High reunion, 20 years ironies encore. Audited as keynote. From humiliation to harmony. Gym transformed, banners rainbow-edged, seats packed alumni. Hargrove, Freilier now, front row. Nod exchanged, peace sealed. Stage lights warm, I read. Evolution of echoes. Jake joining for duet excerpt. Voices seasoned but synced. Laughter, tears. Q&A unearthed stories. Kids who'd read my work, closets cracked. A former bully approached post-talk. Your words changed me. Sorry. Forgiveness flowed easy. Humanity's grace. After party at the old diner, Mom's haunt, now vegan twist. Tables groaned potluck. Mia's empanadas, Theo's charcuterie. Jake and I slipped out, rooftop under stars, city hum distant. Full circle, he murmured, ring glinting. Below, lives we'd touched milled. Ripples from one essay's yawp. Post-reunion, arcs resolved. Mom's recovery bloomed. Garden parties, her matchmaking for Mia. My novel dropped. Bestseller whisper. Adaptations buzzed. Jake's series premiered. Binge-watched marathons. Critics praising tender truths. Legacy layered, mentorships mine, workshops for young queers. His scholarships for diverse filmmakers. Hargrove's passing gentle, letter left. You proved me wrong, son. Gratefully. Eulogy mine at a quiet service. He taught discipline. I heart. Golden years tease. Travels. Amalfi Cliffs echoing verses. Tokyo neon scripting futures. Whitman romps beaches. Gray-muzzled sage. Love's narrative. Not flawless, but faithful. Kisses dawn-lit. Hands clasped through plots unforeseen. In America's grand tome, our chapter. Dramatic once, now lyric. Humiliated boy proved wrong? Nay, proved right, echoing eternal.